Hawaii, Maui. Maui has been burnt up. And that's where CrispTafer Green is stationed. Island project, right? I mean, he's fine. Although, I did say he's next, coming up. It was back in May 11th, I was doing a video about Jacob Israel was on live with AMTV, CrispTafer Green, and Donut, and Marfugel, MFer. I was checking the boxes, and Christopher thought he's slick, because, you know, it's like, yous all know the future because it's sorcery. I don't know, somehow you tapped into, you got our records from the recordings that have already been done. And you're like, hook, line, and sinker, check every single box. I was checking every single box because I wanted to, not because you said to check it. Alright, Christopher. But I was talking about, because the Donut, his channel got canned, and I was giving him a warning about it because I was checking the boxes. And so I checked because they were both in the same box. I think they were in Hawaii together, in Maui. And so the next day or two, Donut's main channel got canned, and then I said, Christopher Marina Obramovic is next. Next for what? Just next up. Next, whatever happens, it's going to be something that's, you know, big news. It's big news when someone like Donut's channel gets shut down, the main channel. I heard he's doing a lot in the Rumble and all the other areas, but I guess maybe because it's time for everybody to just get off the YouTube platform and then just nothing but the actual truth, the true interpretation of things, the truth of the matter taking over on YouTube. And then the next thing that happened 3 months later, right where CrispTafer Green is being stationed at, according to, you know, what we see on the YouTube platform, is right there. So what happened? Well, everything got burned up. It's like Sodom and Gomorrah. And he said this is the 9/11 of Maui. You know, at one point I'm thinking, I don't know if the center city gets destroyed by a nuke. I don't know if they're willing to do that. Well, unless if it's all fake. Good lady, you were there first. Unless if it's all like a facade and it really didn't happen, and they just cut everybody's power off and kept everybody as prisoners, or everybody in Maui that's there right now is just all part of this. Yeah, I mean, it's not hard to believe. Everybody being a gang stalker, you're all told what to do as it is, right? So everybody being part of it, just agreeing to lie about what happened, and nothing really even happened, because we're at the end of the world and it starts there. I did say that at one point. I said the most fenced cities will be destroyed, and I was talking about Hawaii, Guam, and I forget what other cities I was talking about. But I was also saying that at the end of the world, right before the last hurrah happens, that once the power's shut off, they're going to tell you that, say, a certain city got destroyed, but you can't really find that out because you're not there, and you're just going to hear about it on the news, and the people delivering the reports will show you a bunch of miracle signs and wonders to get you to poop your pants. I mean, I don't know if that's the case right now, but over in Hawaii, but it's definitely what we're hearing is that it has been absolutely burned up. I mean, who lives there in Maui? All the rich billionaires. Did anybody really die? I don't know. I wasn't there. But it first starts with the wildfires in Canada. That's the beginning of it. 4, 3, 2, 1 before the fire. I asked CrispTafer Green, have I seen you before in a previous life before the fire? In the voiceover. I think it's a little suspicious that you have CrispTafer Green moving over to Maui, Hawaii area, and then don't you know that now it's all completely burned up. Oh, except for his house. His house is fine. He's got like a year's worth of food at least, and he's good to go. Of course you're good to go, CrispTafer Green. Marina Abramovic, Witch of Hollywood. This is the same woman. 96% match from the Match app. CrispTafer Green and Marina Abramovic being exact matches, 96th percentile. It's pretty good. Pretty good match. So yeah, you're good at of course you're good because you knew it was going to happen. Obviously, you all know everything. But DoorDasher, look, here he goes. DoorDasher, speeding up. He even said it when he was on with Donut. I was listening to it earlier. He's like, they're already rebuilding, as if they had a blueprint to rebuild, as it's like fire's still burning in certain areas and they're already rebuilding. Now, he did say that we are the Robin Hood of victory. And so you got Mark Zuckerberg lives over the Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg's over there. That's exactly why his name is Zuckerberg, because it's supposed to rhyme with Zuckerberg. And none of the people are actually real. They're all behind masks. I think they're aliens. At least they're either reptilians or aliens. I get them confused sometimes, or just clones. And said all the billionaires over. And CrispTafer was talking when he was on live with Jacob and Donut and Marfugel, when I was checking the boxes. And what he said was, he said, Hawaii's the safest place in the world to be. Just my humble opinion. Jesus Christ is king. I love when he does that. I mean, I really don't, but I love it. I loathe it because he always seems to make a gesture pointing to himself. But so, how many people do that? Jonathan Clegg. I've wondered, are you CrispTafer Green? Stephen James Deshawn, how about you? Which one was washed up on an empty beach? Judas? But he also said, I'm not saying nothing bad will happen, because you already know what was going to happen, because you had to take care of some business while you were down there, and that's called burning up Hawaii. So it's like a level playing field now. Alright, well, it seems like a tragedy, unless if it's all the rich elite that live there, and your house has got burned up, but they'll still be rebuilt, right? But if it isn't, look, either way, rich elite or not, human beings, reptiles or aliens that start forming a spirit. Well, for aliens, it doesn't really make a difference. You don't suffer. No matter what you do, you don't suffer. I believe that there's people that live on Earth that you may be reptilian and you've been reskinned with flesh, but you don't sleep because you don't have to. And they're the most successful people, because think about this. If you don't have to sleep, well, there's 8 hours of the day that you're going to get stuff done. You can even go to the underworld for 8 hours and then come back up to this world, or 12, split it, 12 and 12, because you don't sleep. Or if you're AI mixed with, your human body, and then you skull and bones, everything is computerized inside of you, and there's no actual there's no reason to get tired, because you don't have blood pumping through your veins. You just don't get tired. So and what do you do when you go to heaven? Do you sleep at all? I don't think you do. And I think people that came from heaven come down here, and they don't sleep. God doesn't sleep. We only sleep down here because, well, Satan puts us to sleep. We get to live in the flesh first. Lucky us, huh? Live in the flesh first. Then we're told all types of lies while we live here in the flesh. And it's hard to enjoy living life because you're tormented by the devil. But speaking of that, Stephen James is talking about CrispTafer Green being, his name in gematria meant green reptile or something. But considering this is the same woman, he's also Marina Abramovic. But as a wearing the same face mask that looks like Marina Abramovic, that way he can just dress in that, put that face mask on and play dress up, and be the female portion of the male. But it seems like right now it's a king in the north and then a king in the south, because Hawaii's down at the bottom, Canada's up at the top. Canada started with smoking us out, or here even in Philly and New York. And they're not stopping. It's 4, 3, 2, 1 before the fire. I don't know how many people you guys are behind masks. Sometimes I think it's like Satan himself is just all of you. He's just literally every single one. And I'm thinking there's different people, but no, it's just Satan. But how can he be so many different people at once? Well, because they're from the ancient past, and they can record my videos and put it in music videos that were recorded 30 years ago. They know exactly what I'm going to do before I do it. They know exactly where my eyes are going to look at the exact time, no matter what I see. They're going to make sure that they put something in my face. Even when I just go outside the door or just... What the hell happened here? It's the timing's so impeccable. It's like... Sometimes I just get irritated because it's so sickening. And then other times it's like, man, I gotta give you credit. That is just impeccable. But when you realize that our lives here on earth have already been, it shouldn't be a surprise really that if you believe in the Bible, well, you already know God said he knows your life inside and out from beginning to end. He knew you in the womb before you were born. So he's able to see and know what you're going to do before you do it. And so is Satan. They know what you're going to do. I mean, I got mixed emotions with Jacob Israel. He irritates me at times. But mainly with, when you're... there's a couple things I have a problem with people with, for whatever it's worth. When you talk about dogs, specifically mine, as it's dying, with a stiff neck, talking about Merlin. It's just... I just want to punch you in your face, Jacob. And I know you want to do the same thing as Will Smith did to the Rock. But then it's like other times it's... I know you're Elon Musk. Or at least the son of Elon Musk. One or the other. You're either him or you're whatever. You're acting as him. Either way, you have that much power, and you can squash me like an ant. But I don't care because you're irritating at times, and I'm going to tell you. But then times where I went to the William Penn building, I'm sitting out there. All of a sudden you start a live stream, and then you're doing a tour. Although it wasn't a live stream, it was live. The first time I seen it. And then you're leading me around, showing me what I'm going to do. I mean, it's quite amazing that you have the ability as a sorcerer, as a wizard, to lead me around down Center City, starting at the William Penn building and then ending up at the Black Rock, the hidden hand, the Moses figure standing on a rock. Doing that while I'm watching your video, which is live for the first time, as I am live, and you show me stuff that I'm going to see before I see it, as I'm watching you for the first time. How do you know that I'm going to go over there while I'm watching you? I can understand, like, I'm just recording a video, and wherever I go, and then you'll talk about that. But live as you're... I can't... That's one thing I just can't comprehend. I can't figure it out. I can understand you knowing where I'm going to go. Because, like watching a video, because all videos have been recorded already in the past, we're just living it out again somehow in the present moment, but it already happened. So you can see and you know where I'm going to go with that, and you can show me in areas. But while I'm watching you live, I can't. I just can't. Must be magic. But is that the hand of God, or is that the hand of Satan and sorcery and wizardry? If it is, well, how come King Neb and Belshazzar, it's like King Neb asked for somebody to interpret his dream. Not only interpret it, but just tell him what his dream was. And then interpret his dream. Tell him what he dreamed about. And he's like, then he gets out all those sorcerers and soothsayers. And so if you're a sorcerer and a soothsayer, or a wizard like Jacob Israel, you would know what, you would already know the future, so you would be able to find out from the future from the dead. Check these witches' words. So they must not be witches. They must not be wizards. It's more like Jacob is the wizard, because he can tell you that. And same thing with Jonathan Kleck and then Steve Ben-Nun. It seemed like he was showing you he can do the same thing. He just wanted to let you know that he has the same ability to lead me in a direction that I'm going to see things that he's talking about before I see it on the X app. Because you're already watching, somehow you already know what I'm going to record on the X app, because you've already seen it. You've seen it in the past before I even recorded it in the present moment. And that's the mind, that's what the mind bender that I've been trying to explain. But it's so obvious beyond a shadow of a doubt. The amount of times that I've pushed record on that X app, even down at the Wild Horses video with YouTube down at Forbidden Drive, it was like a take 5. I recorded it about 5 times before I finally went with it, and then the last one I went with it, and then that was the one that lined up perfectly with YouTube's video, Who's Gonna Ride My Wild Horses. The amount of similarities is ridiculous. Who's gonna drown your blue sea? And then I walk by a blue sea net. And then 3 days later, I go to Wildwood, and I find a piece of glass left there on the beach. I didn't put it there. It was there. And it was there for a while because it was stuck in the sand. And you can tell it was just there for quite some time. And I happened to walk right by it, and you already sung about it? Yeah. And then, but 3 days before that, well, I don't know if it was 3 days. Well, I was doing the video. I was showing you the video. It was very shortly before. And I'm doing the Wild Horses video right where Batman's symbol is on the tree. Show you the C-net walking around to the horse. Go up to the horse. Bono is hopping up on the back of the horse. Then his face, his nose is set in the same direction as the horse. And it would, how did it even rain without me seeing it? And then his nose to nose, same area, and then the horse looks back as if someone just hopped up on his back, and that's why Bono did it 30 years ago. And then he's turning around, and then directional, and then he's saying he's turning around again, and I'm going around that corner again, right at the same time. And then to top that one off, as he's talking about who's going to ride a wild horse. In the very beginning of the video, it shows a roller coaster ride. And then as he's leaning back like that, once I get to Wildwood Nibbles Woodaway, recording it on the 75th year anniversary of the nation of Israel becoming a nation again, I'm tapping in with Jacob Israel. Or I'm tapping in with Jacob and Israel. It could be Jacob, like Jonathan Kleck, wrestling with God, and then Israel's. Because that day I did tap in to two people, Jonathan Kleck and Jacob Israel. So I juxed these positions, but I could have been tapping in with Jacob and Israel. I guess it's a love-hate kind of relationship I have with Jacob. Because I can't stand certain things that you joke around with. Here's what bothers me. When you joke around about people's lives and the suffering that we do on earth because of financial difficulties, and you don't have a difficulty with finances. And have you ever even felt what it's like to live in flesh and deal with being poor and just being tired? The main thing is just, I'm tired. Working for a living is tiring. Being the low man at a totem pole in the royal family, it can be a draining at times. Seeing all my videos in a rock band's video, like YouTube itself, from 30 years ago, and how do you even prove that that's true? Well, all I can do is just show you the footage. You determine it yourself. I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm just showing Bono, who knows, and everybody else. I'm showing everybody that has already part to do with directing their music videos by using my. You already know you use my footage. You were just waiting for me to wake up and find it. How was I supposed to find it? How do you find that out? Through Planet X. And so that becomes irritating because I'm ready to retire from working for a living. I'm ready to start living my life the way it's intended on earth. I'm ready for God to bring heaven down to earth. As it is in heaven, so shall it be on earth. So that would be the main prayer, really. Pray thou art Father in heaven, thy kingdom come, as it is in heaven, so shall it be on earth. Forgive us of our daily trespasses, and so on and so forth. But the main prayer is, as it is in heaven, so shall it be on earth. So I don't like when people make funny, crack jokes about people's suffering on earth. I don't care if you're a gang stalker, because I know that you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You have to do the things you have to do because of whatever you agreed to. I don't know when you agreed to it. I don't know if it was the time you died, you went to the pit, Satan lied to you and said heaven doesn't exist, and if you want to live again, put this earpiece in your head and hop into a female bodysuit if you are a dude, and do as I tell you to do. That's probably what may have happened. And all you had to do is wait 3 days, and they would have taken you to heaven, because maybe that's the time of being purified. Maybe it's what you learned on earth before you die, which will determine when you die and you meet Satan in the pit and he lies to you, whether you believe him or not. That could be it. And then you just wait it out 3 days and you go to heaven because you denied Satan. You denied his offer. You said no thanks. You're not going to pull these pranks on me, Satan. I don't know. Something's just this whole world, this whatever this is, this realm of existence is so shitty. The system's so shitty. Because who feels like working for a living? Who feels like being a slave? Nobody asked for it. You don't work for a living in heaven, right? No. There's no mosquitoes, there's no flies, there's no insects up there, correct? There are animals, but they don't eat each other. Down here, they do. Down here, animals have the natural gang-stalking instinct, and I believe that some animals are actually people who they died and I don't know, they just, it's like the reincarnation of, you're now stuck in a dog. How you like it? You're now going to be stuck in that donkey, and you're just going to be stuck. Because that one donkey at my boss's farm, he seems kind of really sad. Like when I looked at him the last time, he had a tear coming down from his, or no, wait, was that the horse? I think it was the horse. It's like they had a tear coming down from it, because maybe they already knew that they were a human being. It's like, I'm stuck in this horse. I don't want to be a freaking horse. Because you remember what you used to do as a human, and that's, if you're a horse from birth, you're fine. If you're a human, you die, and then your punishment is to become a horse, or a donkey, or a pig. I mean, that's got to be depressing, don't you think? Because this is a matrix anyway. As soon as you die, you just get transferred to another spot, another body, maybe another animal, maybe another human being type looking body. But either way, I definitely know that you don't get destroyed. Your energy just gets transferred. Just transferred to another realm of existence. Just like when you're sleeping and dreaming. It sure does feel real, doesn't it? It sure does feel. There's times I don't even remember anything else other than I'm in this dreamland, and there's times I don't even know that I even have a wife or a family. It's weird. And then you wake up, and then you're in another realm. It's like dreamland upon dreamland. How many dreamlands can you go to? When do I finally wake up? I guess when I'm dead. I'm finally gonna wake up when I die. Get unplugged. But I did think this before. Maybe we're all just in darkness, and we're all computered AI programs, chips. And Satan gets us in the flesh, so we get taken because we live forever as it is. But we think we don't, because we think we live in the flesh, and then that's the end of it. If you believe that, when you die, you're probably going to repeat back here on earth as somebody else, because you didn't believe that you were going to heaven, because Satan told you it doesn't exist. And he showed you a lake of fire that he's going to throw you in, but unless you do as he says. And when I was 6 years old, sitting on top of the step on Salmon Street, when I lived there, crying because all I envisioned was darkness, and I thought, what if there was nothing? What if there's nothing out there, and it's just everybody didn't exist, and it was just complete darkness? Man, I did not like that. So maybe I was seeing where I came from at first, and I didn't like it, and then I wanted to see some light, and then in my mind, because I wanted to see light, I seen it, and I became a human being. And I don't know, I guess when you're a baby, you wake up, you could be the same thing as soon as you die, just like Stephen James Sean's father died, he said, at 11:30 p.m. and I was born at 11:30 p.m. So what if he died, and it's like, and then all of a sudden transferred immediately, and now you're going to start over as a baby, and you just remember that you were rich as hell, you had everything, and then all of a sudden you're in a baby's body, and you look at yourself and you're like, what the fuck? No, my gosh, I can't, damn it. And then you're just crying, and that's why babies cry, because they are pissed off. They remember that they just died, and they do not like it. And then as time goes by, they start to forget their past life, and then just start living their baby life. Or maybe you don't forget, and you remember your next body. But it sure is disappointing when you can't even get up and walk. You can't even crawl. You got to rely on somebody to feed you. You're hungry. It's like, God damn it, I remember just last week I was eating steak and potato chips. Man, I got to drink milk. Yeah. Anyway, whatever.